This festive season is a time for moving up and down. And we're saying do not drink and drive. Okay? In fact, it's sherehe time. Why are you driving? Why drive at all? Sit in the back left and tell people, Omera, where are you? We are coming.
Not my problem.
Boss, change direction. Let's go to city. Senior.
Yeah.
This is it. And we said, there's a taxi hailing company that is Kenyan made, Kenyan managed, Kenyan run, Kenyan everything. Kenyan. It means if you have an issue, you can walk into an office in Kenya and find a Kenyan who will listen to you in Kenyanese and understand exactly what you mean. Okay? It's called Maramoja Transport. Maramoja app.
Yes.
We introduced this to you last week and we said we will bring these guys here so they can tell us all this story. And they're here this morning. Ronald Mahondo is the CEO of the company and Mitchelle Midii is the digital manager. Good morning, Ronald and Mitchelle.
Good morning.
Good morning, Eric.
Welcome to Kenya's biggest conversation. So when you used your cab is waiting there.
Yeah.
It's still counting.
Yeah.
No, hers came and left.
Yours is here. Gotta know who the boss. Who the boss.
Yeah.
Who's paying more money. Karibuni sana.
Yeah.
You'll tell us about Maramoja app, but to welcome you to the conversation, CT has the day's proverb. This week's proverbs are from which country?
There's a country the two of you may know of. It's called Kenya.
Okay.
Yes, our proverbs are from this country
Who's the president?
of Kenya.
Yes.
The president of Kenya is Dr. William Ruto.
Okay.
Yes. The vice president is called Rigathi Gachagua.
Do they have a prime minister?
Yes, we do. Prime cabinet secretary is called Musalia Mudavadi. And then we even have a chief justice. She's called Martha Koome. And then we have Speaker of the National Assembly. We have two speakers. Yes.
One.
It's called Justin Muturi.
The other one. No. That was before. This is Papa Aroma.
Oh, it's Papa Waroma.
Yes.
Yes, sorry. my Justin is now AG.
That's right.
Yes, Papa Waroma. Wetangula.
Moses Wetangula.
Yes. And then Amason Kingi is his counterpart in the Senate.
Okay.
Yes.
You'll tell us more about Kenya. We'd love to visit that country. You know? The proverb?
The value of light is noticed when night falls.
The value of light is noticed when night falls.
Yes.
Ronald, what's your interpretation of this one?
I think what it means to me, it means that things which are valuable, it's difficult to notice them because we are used to the value.
Michelle?
I have no idea.
You have no idea what value is?
No.
No, I have no idea how to interpret it.
Actually,
Give it a try.
actually, you do. In making that statement, you see when someone says they have no idea, they're talking about being in darkness. So when you know you are in the light, isn't it? Okay, so let me repeat the proverb. When the value of light is noticed when night falls.
Okay. I think it means that sometimes you might, in life now, in the context of life, you might be going through a difficult time, but you might not know the value of something that you ulipuuza before. Like, for example, you are told to walk left, you chose right. So when you go right and then you find trouble, you'll find the value of walking left. Yeah.
Oh.
That you had no idea. These are those students who sit back.
I'm gonna go play, and then everybody follows you to play, and then they get an A, and you're there.
Ronald, please introduce us to Maramoja.
Thanks, Eric. Maramoja is a ride-hailing platform, but we define ourselves as a transport and logistics platform built for Africa, starting in Nairobi. Ambition, Africa and emerging markets, but definitely you have to start from home. Yeah.
So, what does that mean when you say it's homemade or home-based? What does that mean?
What that means is when we built it from an African perspective. The way like you think about everything. I don't think one of the key things that I really think about is who designed the world the way we experience it, and from whose point of view. And I think as Africans, we need to start thinking of building things that we own ourselves. Most of the things that we have are not owned by us. They are owned by other people. So they determine how we experience it. They determine our experience, how we view life. And I think it's about time that Africans, we start building most of the things. I remember some of the conversations which are going on right now in the country. It's about the forex rates, about importation. We're importing, I don't know how much in food and things which we can actually do ourselves. And I think it's about time that as Africans, we stop complaining, we stop looking outside for solutions and start building. And I think the future of the continent is bright, if you think about it that way.
The understanding of, a Kenyan, when you tell them that this is homemade and it's Kenyan, they expect that the engineer who coded this thing is Kenyan. They expect that the owners of the company are Kenyan. They expect that the money that is running this company was sourced from Kenya. Is that all correct?
Not all, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, so quite a number of it is very correct. It's made in Kenya, Kenyan engineers. Of course, there are a couple of engineers that we also source from outside because of talent. Talent is globally distributed. So a couple of our engineers are not in Kenya. Our ownership structure too, as much as we are local, we have to register in different jurisdictions for purposes of fundraising. As you know, Kenyans, it's very difficult, or rather Africans still, most people with money would rather invest in tangible assets, but the value is really in assets which build value, not necessarily tangible.
Not kapolot.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. That's how Kenyans think. So it's easier to fundraise from out there than locally, yeah.
So where is it registered?
So our structure is our Okoh is in Kenya. We have a holdco which is in Delaware, USA. Yeah, for fundraising purposes mostly. Yeah.
Okay. So what was the idea behind this business in the first place? So established already. So just for purposes of explanation, up-core, down-core, just explain what that means, if you could, and then talk about the ideas behind establishing this business in Kenya.
Yeah, so OPCO means the operating entity. TopCo is like a shell company that now owns the OPCO. So the idea behind Maramoja is basically the idea behind how people move. As you know, in the world, there are a lot of innovations that come in. Like people used to walk, people started riding horses, people started riding cars, flying. And then people started thinking, how do we make life easier and more efficient? So the idea behind Maramoja is basically around that, but it's built around how we as Africans actually do things. Because if you really think about it, in most places, the biggest problem is not finding a taxi. That's not the biggest problem that we face. Like if you go to town, almost at every street corner there's a taxi. Outside the hospital there's a taxi. At the airport, all these places there are taxis. So if you think about what's the role of an app, for instance, around that, you find that you hail an app, go downstairs, wait for the cab. While you're waiting, you can see like 5, 6, 7, 8 cabs parked next to where you are.
As you wait.
That's it. And probably they even look better than the one that you ordered. So our thought around it was that we want to personalize the experience for a rider, that you get to choose who you actually ride with. You get to experience the ride experience from your point of view. You get to curate it in a way. So we came up with tap, pair, and go as our rally call. What that means is you basically open the app, you get options of drivers who are available for you to select. You can see their photos. If you want, you can even see the vehicle that they're actually riding in. You can see the recommendations. So we have a trust engine which runs behind it, and it gives contextual recommendations. So for instance, if Eric, you've ever taken a ride on Maramoja, CT might get your recommendation if you actually found a very good driver there.
All right.
Yeah, so it works in a very different way, but I think it's very African way, because I think in Africa trust is relational. It's something that it comes from relationship. It doesn't come from
It's word of
abstract
mouth.
things. Yeah, exactly.
Someone you know says,
Yeah.
I've tried,
Yes.
I've gone to this place, then you feel that you also want to try it.
Exactly.
And you
yeah.
can trust them.
Exactly.
Okay. So how does this work, the tap pair and go? So you've said I go to the app,
Yeah.
say I'm outside Standard Group Center and I want an app, a taxi. I go to the app and then I find there'll be several along here. And I can see the various drivers around and I can see their vehicles. Then the next thing is it shows me their recommendation and their rating that is relevant to my network of friends.
Yeah, exactly.
So how does it know my network of friends?
So there are a couple of things that happen. So so once you register, there are a couple of things. There are a couple of permissions you'll be asked. So what those permission does is it checks within your contact list who already has an account within our platform.
Okay.
And what's the experience within our platform with that account and with those drivers. So based on that social graph, basically, that we have developed around you, we're able to give you very relevant recommendations. How it works is very simple. We're available on Play Store and App Store, and also in this store that's owned by Technophone and Infinix. I've forgotten the name of that store. You just go there, you download it, you register. Once you register, the process is very simple. You get an OTP. That's what you're going to be using to log in. Once you log in, you'll be asked for your location, or rather where you're going. If your GPS is on, it will automatically pick your location. So once you set those, you get drivers who are nearby drivers within a specific radius. So those drivers, only around a maximum of 12 will be offered to you based on the engine's recommendation. So it will say either these are the nearby drivers, these are the most recommended drivers, or these are the highly rated driver, whatever criteria that it chooses. All you have to do is just to select the one you want. But also, there's another option where if you are on the street already, you've seen a vehicle with our sticker. We have a very characteristic sticker that you cannot miss it. Once you see it, you can just hop in the car, pair with that driver, and go wherever you want to go. Yeah,
I see. Quite interesting, because then the other apps, they tell you we are looking for vehicles available, and then they choose the vehicle and they send me a vehicle. Exactly. I don't have a choice.
Exactly.
So this one I have a choice of whom to pick. You give me the options and I select
the one you want.
The one that I want.
Yeah.
And it will also help me with selecting the one that I want by telling me CT has rated this particular driver highly before.
Exactly. Yeah.
But also, from what I hear, it means that I also have a choice of deciding who I want to ride with, given whom I've ridden with before.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the whole idea behind it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So can I have my cab guy?
Yes, exactly.
That's it.
Somebody who knows your routes, somebody who knows where you want to go, somebody who understands. You say, we're going, when you say, I'm going to Karura, he knows exactly where, because he's taken you there before.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Say this time, Tunanda Movoko, he knows exactly what you're talking about. Yes.
City has it 100%. That's exactly the idea behind it. Yeah. Everyone to have their own cab guy.
Well, I'm a guy who uses cabs literally daily.
And you have a cab guy.
I have cab guys. It's not one.
Cab guys. Why that though? Why that? And I want to bring Mitchelle into this. Why is it important that you have this kind of trust and relational trust? Why is it important?
I believe trust is important because if you are riding a cab with somebody you don't trust, you won't even enjoy the ride. But if you are riding with a driver who you trust and whose vibes are also good, it is easy for you to enjoy the ride and even be comfortable during the ride. Yeah. So at Maramoja, we like calling it getting a personalized chauffeur all at the cost of a normal taxi.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does this, how has it worked? I mean, it's also interesting to know. I mean, you have an idea, then there's the pickup of the idea, which would then show you then how it's been received in the market. How has that been received? Where folks can, actually, the excitement is here, and you can say, okay, that's great. That within an app whereby I can still call, I can still find my guy. How has that been picked up, and what have you heard back in terms of what folks are thinking about that idea?
Yeah, so we've been in operation for a while. So we have quite a number of corporate clients, from really big organizations to really small ones. We've been out of the retail market for a significant period of time, and that was very intentional. It was intentional partly because we all know what was happening in the taxi market. It was mostly because of the retail players, where it was a race to zero. And unfortunately, no one was winning. From the drivers to even the experience that we are still trying to repair. Like in very many towns, you find that even you hail a cab, the driver starts negotiating with you because it was a race to zero. And that's what you're trying to change right now. So the idea, basically, from our corporate clients, it's I believe they really like it because we are seeing the patterns in terms of the data we get, that people keep on preferring to use specific people that they've gotten a very good experience with. Which means drivers are able to create their own brands within our brand, and create their own business within our brand, and own their own customers within our brand.
Okay, so that's interesting, because what we've known from hailing apps, and maybe you can just tell us how that would work, is that you can't guarantee where a driver is going to be, at any one period in time.
Exactly.
But if I have my favorite driver, we just have been able to, we get each other. And I want to be able to use this person. How does then that work? Because I can't. Can you guarantee where this driver is going to be at any one time? And then how will I be able to find them? What if I have a trip that's not pre-scheduled and I don't do the thing of using it every morning? How then do you guarantee that I can find my guy?
Okay. There was a story I saw on Twitter. Sorry, I'm just going on the other side. And it was about this lady who used the same matatu for like 3-4 consecutive days. And every day she was meeting with a gentleman. And this gentleman, I think on that day, decided to tell the lady, I think this is destiny that we keep on meeting. And the lady said, no, my destiny is, okay, these are Madding. It's in a Mercedes. Okay, but I guess the point I'm trying to make is, I think human beings, we are creatures of habit. Drivers also have an habit the same way as riders. So you'll find, like, for instance, the driver I use spends his day in the morning around my hood, waiting for me, probably, or someone like me. In the afternoon, he spends his time in a specific place. And that's the same way most people do things. So you'll find it's definite. You don't need to schedule rides, first of all, but in the likelihood that your behavior or your habit also rhymes with that of that driver, you'll be very lucky. But also at the same time, you don't get to curate only one driver.
Okay.
Yeah, you can curate as many drivers as you want, but also we have over 50k registered drivers within our platform, most of them who are wonderful. Right now, we are in the process of actually cutting that number significantly. We are cutting it by
reducing the number of drivers?
We are reducing it by around 45,000 to focus on only 5,000, because what we've come to realize is that it's better to go for quality than a quantity. So you find there are quite a number of these drivers who, like, their behavior within the platform is not where, or rather we don't have enough data to be able to determine what sort of impact they have on our clients. And what we would like to do is to encourage them to really come online, so that we get this feedback, because the level of feedback we have isn't enough for quite a number, but for quite a number is really good enough. And how we want to separate ourselves going forward is about quality. We don't want those types of people that you hail a cab, they start negotiating with you, telling you
at one end
or two or three things. Thank you. Yes.
Utaongeza 300. Imekuonesha ngapi? Our guests are Ronald Mahondo is the CEO and Midii is the digital manager from a company called Maramoja Transport. We are talking about Maramoja Taxi. Download it today. In fact, download it right now so we can have this conversation. You can even ask the questions. Download it from Google Play Store, Apple App Store, and the other one, you're saying?
Yeah, for Techno and Infinix, I've forgotten what.
Okay. Whatever app store you have, just go. Look for Maramoja Taxi. Download it. Let's have a conversation around it. Register and all. They're saying very many innovative things. It's Kenyan made with a Kenyan context. So it understands when you say, boss, tunaweza pitia kwa nani kwanza nikachukue maziwa. You can do that because that's Kenyanese. Not the other. Hello. What's happening? Are you okay? Have you been kidnapped? It's changing direction. It'll understand. So how do you onboard your drivers? What kind of vetting do you take them through?
Yeah, so our vetting is simple. Basically, a driver needs to have documents which allow him to do the business, which means that they need to have a PSV badge. The vehicle needs to be PSV registered, needs to have insurance, the relevant insurance. The driver needs to have a valid driving license. They need to have certificate of good conduct. All these things are just based on, it's exactly what the current ride-hailing regulation requires. So we don't have onerous requirements beyond that. When it comes to onboarding. But as I said, our focus right now for the next 1 year is to cap the number of drivers within our platform, which will cap it at only 5,000. And we'll be doing only replacements. So which means going forward, for a driver to join the platform, they'll need to apply, wait in a waiting list. But also we invest around 30% of our revenues in driver training. So we do training on beyond just the normal driving. We do training on a couple of other areas that are relevant to a human being, including work-life balance, including managing like your finances. Because what we think is we need to build a virtuous cycle, and to be able to build a virtuous cycle, we need to create value to the people who are actually giving you value. Yeah.
How do you guarantee security for riders? Because this has been a thing in the recent past. We've seen quite a number of, left cases whereby, the riders' security cannot be guaranteed. So what you do, what safeguards are you putting in place to make sure that folks getting in taken care of?
Yeah, so on security is on a couple of areas. So the first thing is, as a rider, you actually get the photo of the person who's coming to pick you. You get the picture of the vehicle that's coming to pick you. So you can't be picked by a different person than the one. You shouldn't be picked by a different person than the one who is actually on the platform. The second thing is we have an SOS button within the platform. The SOS is powered by the largest network of emergency and security providers in East Africa. Which it means that if you are in the platform, whether you are in Homa Bay or you're in Kilifi, Mandera, we have a service level agreement with the organization that's giving us that service. They work 24/7. I usually see people sharing numbers for police stations on X. I see people sharing numbers for ambulances on X. I see people sharing a lot of things which are related to what we are talking about, which is totally unnecessary in this age of technology, because there are platforms which their work is to do that. The platform we are working with is called Rescue by Flare. So they have a network of around, I think, over 100 ambulances. In Nairobi, I think there are over 50. Just to paint a very good picture, the next person who does something similar has only 2 ambulances in Nairobi. The ETA that we have and the service levels we've signed with them is less than 15 minutes. And they dispatch not only ambulances, if it's a security related thing, they dispatch the security guys. They are in contact with the police at the same time. They can track you, because we share with them the location once you press the SOS button, and it keeps on sharing until whatever is done is done. And they also take care of you not only at the scene. They don't just dispatch the ambulance, but they also ensure that you actually have bed space. So they'll basically do the whole 360, come and rescue you from wherever you are, dispatch an ambulance. They can dispatch maybe a fast responder on a motorbike or something, and all that. So as a user within our platform, you need to feel very safe. You need to feel that we've thought about what could go wrong, and we've tried to put in a process around that.
Who pays for all of that?
So for now, it's free. It's free as long as you have our app. It's free.
What?
It's free to use the SOS button.
Are they giving you free service?
No, they are not giving us free service.
So who's paying?
We are paying for it. We are paying for it right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But at some point, if it's abused, of course, you're going to start seeing ways of passing the cost.
So
but
just
it's
for
not
purpose of clarification,
Yeah.
something happens to
Yeah.
me. If I've hailed, I'm riding, something happens. It could be anything, accident, and there's an ambulance that comes in. There's treatment that happens as a result of that. Are you saying that Maramoja is paying for that?
No, we won't pay for the treatment. We'll pay for the rescue and the up to the hospital. Up to the hospital.
So the cost of the ambulance up to the hospital is borne by Maramoja.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, from the hospital, of course, if it's the vehicle is insured, it's well insured to cover you. Yeah. So the insurance will kick in at that point. Yeah.
So you're also saying that the vehicles that operate under this platform, one of the due diligence processes you undertake is to ensure that they are all comprehensively insured and insured to look after their clients in the event of an accident.
And that's the main reason why people should use vehicles in the platform, because there are a lot of taxis which are on here. Most of them are not in platforms, and they're not in platform for a very good reason, because they cannot register in a platform because they lack one or two or something. There's something they're lacking. Either the vehicle isn't properly insured, so it can't be registered on a platform. The driver doesn't have the valid documents. So in case of an accident, you're on your own. In case anything goes wrong, you're on your own. But if you work on a platform, anything happens within that platform. Let's say you forget your phone. Anything happens, you have a way to retrieve it. We have a 24/7 customer support line that is always available to serve our clients. Yeah.
Okay. There's another habit also that's a bit dangerous, in my opinion, and that so you talk about having vehicles registered, so who's registered? The vehicle or the driver, or both?
Both. Yeah.
So if somebody then rocks up, you've ordered a ride, and somebody comes in a different vehicle, other than that, that is registered, even on the app, and then also for the ride, should you decline to enter? Or what should happen? Because they'll tell you, you know, that other one, there's an insurance issue, it had an accident, blah, blah. But, you know, the app knows that I've used a different vehicle today. Should you take their word for it, or should you say absolutely not, I will cancel this one and take another one? Or do you report to the customer care support line? What should you do? Or how have you set it up for that to work?
Yeah, so there is a possibility. You know, we have to be, I'll tell you what our policy says. Our policy says we shouldn't, but also we have to be pragmatic, because the reality on the ground is that most of these drivers don't own their vehicles. Those vehicles that they drive are not theirs. They're owned by other people. And that comes with, that person might wake up this morning and say, I want my vehicle. And you don't know for how long. And like, you have to remember, most of these drivers live hand to mouth, which means if they don't work that day, they actually don't eat that day. So they have to find a way to survive within the ecosystem. Within our platform, of course, we discourage that. And actually part of the things which we do is to empower drivers. So we have a lot of programs which are driver specific, because one thing that we think, looking at the crystal ball, some years down the line, we are in a vicious cycle right now, and the vicious cycle is you keep on seeing there's this push and pull between platforms and drivers, complaining between one or two things, but there are real people behind it who are taking a hit every single day. So who is coming to solve that problem in the long run? In the long run, that's what you're trying to do using the programs that we have for drivers. But we've come to discover, as much as you have these things, it has to be on a two-way thing. It can't be that you're helping someone who doesn't want to be helped.
Ronald, just walk us through this driver-centered approach towards training. What exactly do you do for the drivers?
So we do a couple of things. Let me start with the things which really get drivers excited. So we have a program called Rent to Own. So Rent to Own, we've partnered with a couple of organizations, including Untapped Global, and Chuna is the University of Nairobi SACCO. What they do is they, using the data within our platforms, they're able to give our drivers financing for vehicles. So drivers who would otherwise not be able to own vehicles, who are in our platform, are able to actually now own vehicles, using no other data than the data in our platform. So we don't ask for bank statements, nothing.
Okay, just walk us slowly through this, because there are people listening. And immediately after this conversation, they are going to be applying and writing and seeking.
Yes.
So where do you start? You first register as a driver within the platform.
Exactly.
You meet the requirements. That requirement is what you're referring to as a requirement in the data. That's the data, the information in the database.
Exactly.
Okay. Now you have information in the database. Let me start by, what are the things that may disqualify you from qualifying? Let's start there.
Yeah. So first thing is we look at five things within our data. The first thing, of course, you have to be within the platform. And then we look at how many hours you spend online within the platform. We look at your activity within the platform during those hours that you spend online. So the activities, we look at things like how a customer is rating you. So if you have a good rating, you are good. If you have a bad rating, you're not so good. We look at how many hours you stay online. So we have a minimum of 50 hours per week. Maximum, sorry.
Hours you stay online means what exactly?
So it means, in the platform, you get to choose when you want to work and when you don't want to work. Yeah. So you can decide Monday I'm not
when
working.
You want to use Maramoja or when you want to use another app.
You could say that, but not necessarily. Yeah. So you need to stay minimum 40 hours a week online within the platform. You have to have a 4-star rating and above. We have something called fulfillment. So fulfillment is the number of requests that you actually accept. They have to be within 80% threshold. We have something called completion rate. Completion rate is the number of requests that you have accepted, that you complete. They have to be above 90% threshold. And then you have something called ETA. So ETA, within the platform, when a customer is making a request, they get to see how far you are from them. And that data is real time. It's from Google. So let's say the app says the driver is 10 minutes away or 5 minutes away. We say you need to reach at around a margin of error around there, not reach like 30 minutes later or 20 minutes later. So we look at all those.
Nilikuwa na drop customer mwingine.
That's it. Yeah. So it's like we look at all those things. So for the drivers who are really performing well in those are the ones who are shortlisted for the program. But even before the Rent to Own program, we found one of the key challenges even on the Rent to Own is because there's a deposit element that the drivers need to come up with there. But most drivers, as I said earlier, don't have that money. So we actually came up with a bridge program. So the bridge program basically is we give drivers vehicles, really good drivers who are on our platform. We give them vehicles at a very subsidized rate. So you find typically a typical vehicle, a driver pays between 30 to 40,000 a month, depending on the size and the partner. For us, under the bridge program, drivers actually pay only 10,000 a month.
Per month?
Yeah. They pay only 10,000
until they complete pay.
Yeah, so the bridge program is supposed to last only for a specific period. So let's say like 4 or 5 months. So within that 4 or 5 months, you graduate now, you get your own vehicle. So the reason why we did the bridge program is because we have a lot of good drivers that we've even experienced ourselves, but they don't have access to vehicle that they can consistently use because of one reason or another. And we want to facilitate those good ones, not the ones with resources, but those good ones who actually probably don't have the resources. And we are creating a path for them to be able to be car owners and to be able to earn a sustainable living out of it. Yeah.
Mitchelle,
Yeah.
there are 3 stakeholders that I'm thinking of that you have. You have the customer,
Yeah.
city, you've got the driver, and you've got the owner of the vehicle.
Yeah.
Most of them will have given you feedback by now,
Yeah.
various forms of complaints here and there.
Yeah.
Let's start with the owners of vehicles and drivers. What are the most prominent complaints that come from drivers?
Well, I would like to say that most of the complaints we have received from drivers, it might be that maybe customer has taken too long, like I'm a request cab, but then for the customer to get out of wherever they are to hop in the vehicle, they take a long time frame. So that is one of the most, that is a prominent complaint we have received. And for Maramoja, what we do, we tell the drivers, whenever they arrive at the pickup point, they wait for the clients for 5 minutes. Within those 5 minutes, if the client has not arrived, we advise them to ask for we have an OTP code for starting the ride. So this OTP, it's the client who has the OTP. So when the driver enters the OTP, the app automatically counts the waiting time. So to curb that case that, client has kept waiting for 20 minutes, for 30 minutes, and hajafika. So the OTP really helps, especially it also helps in communication because the driver can easily tell the client, if you don't give me the OTP, I can leave. Yeah, there's a understanding between both parties.
So it's basically an agreement
Yeah.
that you want me to wait for you.
Yes.
Exactly.
And
So
you
just
will
give me the
pay
OTP.
for the time
Yes.
that I wait for you.
Yeah.
I see. Second,
Clients, I don't think we have had that much complaints at all. Like,
payment.
not that much. Because how we have subsidized our payment is that we don't favor the client more, because we find most apps in Kenya right now, they favor the clients and then the drivers they are left like that. So our pricing structure, we have made it balanced whereby the client and the driver both feel like they are being attended to. That's why most of the time when you find drivers are striking, no offense, you'll never find a driver striking because ati ako under Maramoja, but you find other drivers from other platforms, they normally strike. And we have tried this balance because we believe that for the app to be sustainable, we believe that the driver is important.
Just wait until they get used to those rates and all that.
So are you saying that your rates for drivers are higher?
Yeah, they are.
They're higher than the others.
Yeah.
Higher by what percentage at a minimum?
Okay, we've not done the comparative analysis that way, because the way we approach our pricing is quite different. We as much as we look at where the competitors are, the first place where we look at are the economics, the unit economics, that by the end of this ride, imagine someone has taken a ride. They've come from wherever they are. Customers, there's a part that they forget. The driver was not outside where you are. The driver is coming from somewhere and then taking you elsewhere, and then you find you're told pay them 80 bob. Even that fuel doesn't make sense. And unfortunately, even the way that thing is structured for the drivers doesn't work for them. For us, we've created a difference. We are the only app, I don't know, probably in the world, that pays something we call dead mileage. So dead mileage is the distance between where the driver is to where the client is. So that distance for the driver to actually come to you, if it's beyond 2 kilometers, we pay. We pay the driver. It's not the client who takes the cost.
So this story of nani we ukumbali sana doesn't arise.
Yeah, it doesn't arise totally. So even if the driver, at times, like you come late at night, for instance, and you find, let's say like you're landing at the airport. It's late at night.
It's 8:11.
Yeah, exactly. And then you find at times the drivers get too busy. Yeah. And what I mean by that is there are a lot of these customers who just go and start asking if it's a cab. So they tend not to want to pick clients within the platform because now they can overcharge the clients who are walking in. So, but if you go in the platform, you can find a driver who's probably not inside the airport. Probably they are in Atimara or they are at, so within a platform, they'll come.
They come.
You get it?
Yeah.
They'll come because they are not, we talk choma, our chomi. You get it? And also they'll come because now, like the best option for them is to use the platform because there are not a lot of walk-in people who actually walk in and compete with the platform. Yeah.
So how competitive are prices for riders' fares? Because that's the one question that everyone said, okay, well, is it cheaper than what's currently on the market? Is it more expensive? And then what justifications for that? So comparatively.
Yeah, so comparatively, I'd say we are fairly priced. We're not expensive, but we are a little bit higher than everyone else. But not in a way that you would, as a client, suffer. But it makes the whole difference for the driver. But also to answer that, we're also cheaper than the others. So you can ask yourself, how are you more expensive and cheaper at the same time? Because we have the Maramoja wallet. Every time you load the Maramoja wallet, you get a 50% bonus.
You ever put 1,000?
You get 1,500.
Right.
So that more than covers. We are not 50% more expensive. We're only like 10 or 20% maybe.
Is there a ceiling?
No, there's no ceiling. You can put 100,000, you'll get 150,000. Yeah. And it doesn't expire.
You've given them 100.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't expire. Yeah. So it's a benefit, especially for there are a lot of people who plan. You know, there are a lot of people who, especially in this economy, you need to plan. You get otherwise your money won't last the month.
So you put the money in the wallet.
Exactly. You put the money in.
This is how much I need for a month.
Exactly.
For my transport.
Exactly.
So it stays there, and then I get a 50% bonus.
Bonus on top of it.
Kampuni inapeana consumption
I'm
subsidy.
Does it make a difference then on how much the driver is paid? I ask this because again, because we're using other apps as comparison here, that if you get a bonus or whatever, usually by the time you may do 1,000 shillings on a fare, and then you end up paying 300-400 shillings, right? Because of the bonus. Most times drivers will complain because that money is.
It never goes to them.
It never goes to them.
Yes, yeah.
So this 100,000 shillings that CT is putting into his wallet, and he gets 50,000 on top, as he pays his fare from that money, does it affect the money then that the drivers will be paid?
No, it doesn't. So there are two ways that drivers get money. One, they get directly from you, and then second, they also get from us. So in our platform, most of the flow of money is from us to the driver, not necessarily from clients to the driver. So even apart from the bonus, we have promo codes that we have running. So people should watch out for them. And they can get up to 30%, I think. I don't know up to what percent discount. But even if that promo code, you end up paying, let's say, a little bit less than what the driver expected, we actually pay back the driver every week. We pay them every week. So it's like that difference. We don't say, no, you get it? We actually pay them back every week. We don't tell them that we will collect in your future. That's what other people do.
What happens when your driver has someone who does not pay them?
Yes. So this is it. This is the instruction, our desktop instructions to drivers. They never argue with clients. So if that client does not pay you, report to us. We are going to settle you in full, and we are going to follow up with that client and make whatever decisions we'll make at the end of it. So a driver, if you drive with Maramoja, most of them hawana rungu chini ya
rungu na simi ya kudil na. Thank you guys.
Yes.
Agola is asking, I'm on the Play Store, is this the Maramoja Transport Limited?
Yes, exactly.
That's
Yes,
the
it
one.
is, yeah.
Yeah.
Download that
The
one.
blue one, the one, there are a couple of apps. Sorry, we have a family of apps. Just to
Go to the
be
blue-
sure.
go for the blue
Go
one.
for the blue one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Go for the blue one.
Yeah.
Are you in Mombasa? Yes, you're in Mombasa. You're in Kisumu. You're in Nairobi. You're in Nakuru. You're in
Eldoret. Yeah, and Naivasha.
and Naivasha.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, guys, for joining us.
Thank you.
Go download Maramoja app on your Play Store, App Store, whatever app store you have. Download. It's a Maramoja Transport Limited app. We've been having Ronald Mahondo and Mitchelle Midii as our guests.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.